Ladies and gentlemen, we are live today for another edition of a live NASCAR broadcast on the channel. The Xfinity Series takes shape as the playoffs begin at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the first race of the round of 12. And we'll have the live commentary on the channel right here tonight. You guys will see the raw feed with the live leaderboard throughout the top 30 in today's race as well. And I'm pumped. Watched the truck race last night. I actually stayed up to watch it after I was done with, after we were done streaming last night with our NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode race at Talladega. Anybody know why they... I'm not even going to say anything. For anybody watching this right now, they have... I'm not even gonna say anything. Well, welcome everybody. Patrick Shadley, welcome to the stream. Can you explain what happened in the truck race yesterday? I don't even know. It was absolute mayhem. Truck series is usually caution fest more often than not, and that was the case last night. A really nasty accident at one point. Sheldon Creed and Chandler Smith had a very, very vicious accident. That was almost hard to watch on the replay, really. As far as like the playoffs go, though, yeah, a lot of playoff drivers are having issues. Of course, Creed and Smith got taken out in that one accident. John Hunter Nemechek had engine issues or electrical issues of some sort that they couldn't really get fixed. And at the end of the race, I think there were only 3 drivers that were on the lead lap that were in the playoffs of the 8. It was just insane. And non-playoff driver Christian Eckes goes on to win the race. Not only a non-playoff driver of Christian Eckes, but also a part-time driver at Thor Motorsports for Christian Eckes. Splitting time in that 98 truck this year with Grant Enfinger. We are live on the channel here tonight. The race still yet to start. They have just given the command, though, so when NBC comes back from their commercial break, cars will be on the track for their parade laps. We'll take you through tonight's starting lineup. Starting off with row 1, of course, the 12 playoff drivers, first and foremost, will be starting up in the front half of the field. Except for Ty Gibbs in the 54, he is starting 6th. The only reason that he is inside, as well as Sam Mayer in the 8, is because of owner's points, is how things are settled as far as the starting lineup. So although we have our driver standings for all those positions 1 through 12, the owner's points is the same as the driver's points as far as how they structured their playoff format. So the 54 and the 8 actually made the playoffs for the owner standings. That is why they had good draws there. Austin Cindric and AJ Allmendinger will be on the front row. Of course, those two battled it out. Photo finish side by side at Bristol last weekend. Thrilling race to watch in person. And I'm sure for you guys at home as well. Allmendinger got the win. Sliding across the line. Had to go to the infield care center before the start of the race. Or I should say, at the end. I'm all sorts of messed up right now. I don't know. I get my words jumbled up. Acting like this is my first time on the stream, and it's far from it. I think my brain's all jumbled after watching my Michigan Wolverines nearly lose to Rutgers for the 2nd year in a row. So that was kind of maybe getting my blood boiling, and it tired me out. Something. The race tonight is on NBCSN. Now we'll go through the starting lineup for today's race. On the front row, Austin Cindric will be starting P1. AJ Allmendinger, the regular season champion of the NASCAR Xfinity Series, will be starting P2. Those are the two most winningest drivers in the Xfinity Series as well this season. Justin Allgaier and Justin Haley will be starting in row number 2. Allgaier came very close to a win last week at Bristol, leading the most laps, but could not get it done at the end of the race, looking for redemption this week. Harrison Burton and Ty Gibbs will be in row number 3. Ty Gibbs, 3-time winner this season, running part-time in the 54 for Joe Gibbs Racing. In row number 4 will be Daniel Hemrick and Brandon Jones, 2 more playoff drivers. In the driver's standing side of things, Hemrick still looking for his first career NASCAR win. In row number 5, it'll be Noah Gragson and Riley Herbst. Gregson has been on a hot streak as of late, winning 2 of the last 3 races, including back-to-back at Darlington and Richmond towards the end of the regular season. Those were his first 2 wins of the year. Sam Mayer and Myatt Snyder will be in row number 6. And rounding out the playoff drivers will be in row 7 of Jeremy Clements and Jeb Burton. Josh Berry making another in replacement of Michael Annett, who is dealing with a leg injury once again following his surgery a couple months ago. Brandon Brown will start outside of him. Those drivers in row number 8. Alex LeMay and Josh Williams will be in row number 9. Josh Williams has had some fast race cars over the last couple weeks as well. We'll see what he can do here tonight. Tommy Joe Martins and Ryan Sieg will be in row number 10. Joe Graff Jr., Jeffrey Earnhardt in row 11. Jade Buford in the number 48. And Blaine Perkins will be in row number 12. In row 13, it'll be Dylan Lupton, Kyle Weatherman, former Truck Series champion Brett Moffitt, and another former Truck Series champion, Ty Dillon, will be in the field driving the 02 and the 31. Those guys lining up in a row number 14 rather, in row 13. I don't know what's going on, guys. Hopefully when the race gets started, I'm not doing this. This is going to be a bad stream if I keep making mistakes like that. Those guys are in row 15. Matt Mills and Mason Massey, that is in row 15. Ryan Vargas and Spencer Boyd will be in row 16. Row 17, J.J. Yaley. Matt Giscoy lining up on the outside of him. Carson Ware filling in for his brother Cody Ware tonight. Bailey Curry as well. In row number 18 and row 19 will be Landon Castle and David Starr. Rounding out the field in row 20, B.J. McLeod and C.J. McLaughlin. As usual, you guys will be able to see all the stats, what cautions are for what, how many different leaders we've had, lead changes, when they took place, what lap we're on, average speed of the race, and the last lap speed overall, as well as the lapse time on the race length once this race does go green. And then also, of course, you guys get to see the running order of, I believe, the top 32 on the screen. X-World, Tyler Burbeck, welcome into the stream as well. AJ Allmendinger is your pick to win. Won't be shocked if Ty Gibbs gets the W. That is very, very true. Haven't been here in forever. Well, welcome back, X-World. Appreciate it. Harvick should have won last week. Elliott intentionally sped up to get in front of Harvick and then slow him down. Yep, that was definitely Elliott's retaliation. That's for sure. Oh, jeez. Oh, it's Matt Jaskell. It looked like an I on here. The lowercase L looked like an I on my screen. That's why I said... That's why I was a little confused at what his name was there for a second. Down in the comments section, put your picks in for tonight's race as well. I don't know who I'm going to go with tonight. Las Vegas. AJ's been pretty good on the mile and a halfs that have been bumpier this season, I've noticed. Atlanta, he ran good at Vegas earlier this season, too. I'm probably leaning on Allmendinger. I kind of want to take Noah Gragson because he has also been good, at least more recently, on the bumpier racetracks like Darlington and Richmond. I have quite a bit of tire wear. This track's a little bit bumpier than Las Vegas, but definitely rough on tires, that is for sure. Yes, we are almost at 1,000 subscribers. Again, the race is on NBC Sports Network. If you want to watch the race and listen to my commentary. Temperature 94 degrees at Las Vegas Motor Speedway this evening. Of course, with it being a Pacific time, only 4:30 over there, so most of this race will take place in the daylight. It is a scorcher out in the desert. Noah Gragson, just because he's your favorite driver. Daniel Hemrick is going to win tonight. That is a good prediction, Tim. Bold prediction, I should say. You never know, though. You never know. Of course, if one of these 12 drivers that are in the playoffs wins tonight, they will advance into the round of 8. Gotta think that Sam Mayer and Ty Gibbs are definitely the favorites that are non-playoff drivers. Nice interstate batteries paint scheme on the 54 for Ty Gibbs this weekend. I think I'm going to take AJ. 1 to go signal this time by, so they will be going green. When they make their way off of turn 4 this time by, we're going to get the Alsco 302 underway. 302 miles, 201 laps. Except for tonight's race. A little bit of a weird length, adding that extra lap. We'll have to see if that may be going to be playing into some fuel strategy come the final stage. As far as the first 2 stages go, though, pretty short and sweet. If we end up, well, we know we're going to get a competition caution, I guess, in stage 1, so we'll probably see pit stops there. But they don't have to pit for fuel in this stage. And then stage 2, it goes green all the way through. You will not see any of the leaders take a scheduled pit stop. Yeah, my pick tonight's AJ Allmendinger. He's just been better on the intermediates that have been bumpier. One thing I'll give Gragson, it seems like he's better on the shorter tracks that have been bumpier. Darlington, less than a mile and a half. Richmond, short track. Somebody's smoking on the pace lap, and I can't tell who it is. It looked like it, at least. Could be the tires melting on the asphalt with how hot it is. It is definitely going to be a scorcher not only on the track, but inside those race cars. We'll take a look at the temperatures throughout the course of the race as well. Pace truck rolling onto pit road. Austin Cindric has the control position on the initial start, choosing the outside lane. Green flag is in the air, and the Xfinity Series playoffs is underway. Justin Haley on the high side behind Cindric, pushing him into 1, as well Allgaier on the bottom pushing Allmendinger into turn 1. Still door-to-door between the 16 and the 22 down the back straightaway now. Allmendinger on the inside trying to side draft the 22 of Cindric on his high side. Haley clear in 3rd. Allgaier back to 4th. Gibbs gaining 2 spots on the initial start. Allmendinger gets a little loose on the bottom of the racetrack. Broke it just enough that Cindric was able to clear up high, and Austin Cindric will lead lap 1 at Vegas. Allgaier back to the inside of Gibbs into turn 3, and they are side by side for position. Brandon Jones right behind them. Jones with a big run down the back straightaway, but he's going to be patient with it into turn 3 this time. One thing I definitely noticed from the truck race last night, it does seem like the inside lane is bumpier than the middle or the upper groove on the racetrack. So we'll have to see how that will widen out throughout the course of the night as well. Cindric now leading the first 2.5 laps of the race, but he is still only about a car length at the most ahead of AJ Allmendinger. Still aggressive side drafting going on, at least down the straightaways between Justin Allgaier in the 7 and the 54 of Ty Gibbs. Finally, Gibbs is going to pull clear at about the start-finish line and has a massive run, and he'll be looking after 4th place on the 11 of Justin Haley. Jones ducks out of line to the inside, and he'll try to make the pass on Allgaier into turn 3. Had a half a car length on him, but Allgaier gets the run off the high side. He pulls clear now, and now he'll take that run up the high side, crossing over on Ty Gibbs, but Gibbs throws a block. Allgaier going to elect to take the high side, it looks like, going into the next corner into turn 1. Gibbs to the bottom of the track as he's going to try to pass Haley. Side by side for the 3rd position. As the 2 leaders are getting away from the field, Cindric's opened up almost a half a second gap already. Gibbs' failed attempt at trying to pass Haley costed him a spot as Allgaier got around to the high side. Allgaier rips the middle to upper groove again, running higher than Haley, who almost got the wall off turn 4. Haley trying to hold up the 7 of Allgaier now, who is shaking all over the place through the tri-oval, trying to pick a lane, find a way to get around Haley in the early going. Allgaier definitely taking that middle groove to perfection early on. Competition caution scheduled for lap 25 tonight. 45 laps in stage 1, 45 laps in stage 2. Final stage will be 111 to round out the race. Allmendinger about a 1/10 of a second quicker that last lap than Austin Cindric. Closing back into about 3/10 of a second now. Allgaier tried to make a pass that time through turns 1 and 2 on Justin Haley, failed. And it seems like when you fail to make the pass, you're in danger of losing the position behind you with how bunched together the cars 3rd through 8th are running. Allgaier again, getting a nice run off turn 4, seeming to be his setup corner, and tries to make the pass into 1 and 2. Pulls into the clean air, running the bottom lane. Haley protecting on the high side to get the run down the straightaway. Allgaier can't quite get to the corner panel to slow the momentum off the high side down that Haley has. Now Haley goes to the bottom to take the Allgaier line away. Allgaier goes to the high side, again gets a run. Crisscrosses to the inside at the start-finish line, but can't quite make his way back underneath the 11. Cindric already about 3 seconds ahead of 3rd place, where the battle is going on between Justin Haley and Justin Allgaier, with Ty Gibbs directly behind them, followed by Harrison Burton as well, right in line behind the 54 of Gibbs. Allgaier has definitely put the most pressure on Haley so far for a longer period of time, especially compared to the 54. Great undercut in the center of the corner by Allgaier as he was able to get the car to turn even more in the center of the corner, pinning the car on that white line on the inside of the track. Finally clears the 11 of Haley off turn 2 and gets a little loose off turn 4. Big check up by the 7 of Allgaier, and he just barely kept it off the wall. He'll give the position back up to Haley. Gibbs gets around him. Now the 20 of Harrison Burton looking to get around the 7 of Allgaier, who lost a ton of momentum off turn 4 that last lap. A hot, slick racetrack this evening. 94-degree air temperatures coming in. Tough conditions, especially with this lower downforce package that the Xfinity Series has. And on a track that already lacks a little bit of grip. Last repaved and reconfigured in 2006. Hemrick on the outside now of Allgaier trying to make a pass, and you wonder if Allgaier might have used his tires up too much just by simply sliding up out of the corner. Plus the laps it took him to get around Haley, digging lap after lap for about 5 or 6 laps in a row. Compared to the cars behind him that were just steadily running single file, waiting for somebody to make a mistake like Allgaier made. Hemrick still on the outside of Allgaier, has not cleared him yet. Into turn 1, door to door. Hemrick trying to pinch him on the bottom lane. Allgaier slides in the center of the corner again on that painted white line, and he'll lose another spot. Hemrick up to 5th. Cindric slowly pulling away from Allmendinger now, 7/10 of a second out in front at lap 13 as NBC will go to a commercial break for the first time today. Yeah, my pick's Allmendinger tonight. It's only because you want to take Allmendinger, but you got a feeling Gibbs will win it. I just think with it being the playoffs, it's going to be a little harder on Ty Gibbs with him not being a playoff driver at Joe Gibbs Racing. I just feel like Harrison Burton and Daniel Hemrick are just going to get that much better equipment now that the championship's on the line. But then again, I know it's very early, but Ty Gibbs is outrunning both of those guys. He also did have a better starting position than Hemrick and Burton too, though. We're only lap 15. Even during the commercial break, you guys can still see the interval times in between each and every driver. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out here on this Saturday night. Our next live commentary broadcast will be next weekend at Talladega, where we will, for the first time ever, be commentating a Cup Series race on a super speedway on the channel. The live race, that is. I usually stay away from the main NBC or main Fox Network races, but I talked myself into doing Talladega next week. So we'll be watching that one on the channel. And that will be the final Cup Series race that I will be commentating this season. I was originally going to do either Texas or Kansas later in the year, but we'll do Talladega next week. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as well. Full race live streams, the real estate commentary like you're seeing tonight with the actual Xfinity Series race. We do that for NASCAR video games, both past and present as well. At track race highlight videos and vlogs, predictions for fantasy advice, and a lot more. NASCAR just coming back now. I should say NBC is just coming back from their commercial break. Justin Haley and Justin Allgaier continuing to slide backwards in the field, especially the 11 of Haley back to 6th place. Daniel Hemrick has moved up to 4th with the dropping of positions by the 11 car. So we mentioned that the air temperature was 94 degrees on this bright, hot, and sunny evening at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The track temperature is 113 degrees. Before these cars were even fired up and running today, the cars were over 100 degrees, 102 degrees, in fact, inside some of those race cars. They have the thermometer on hand. During these green flag runs with the engine running at high speeds, that is definitely going to be interesting. Some problems radioing in right now on Justin Allgaier's team that they may be leaking some oil or some sort of fluid on the racetrack. So Allgaier has been told by his crew chief to watch his gauges, making sure that nothing is going to be dropping drastically. And I'll tell you what, that is not something you want to hear in the playoff opener, especially early in this race while your driver's inside the top 5. It did kind of look like the camera that they had on the 11 of Haley and the roof cam looked like there was something spraying off the back of the 7, like there was liquids foaming up on the camera itself. That could definitely be problematic, as mentioned, for Justin Allgaier. So he definitely looks like he's got a fast car early on. Slide job pass that time for Daniel Hemrick as he continues to move forward, passing Ty Gibbs, his teammate, for third. 6 seconds off the race lead from Cindric. Leaders dealing with lap traffic. Allmendinger took a swing to the inside to try and take the lead away. Will cut the lap car in a bad spot, and Cindric will hold on to the lead. Cindric up high. Allmendinger drives it in very deep on the bottom. Pulls parallel with the 22 car. More lap traffic just up ahead off of turn 4 as we have a battle for the lead with the competition yellow 2 laps away. Cindric running the high side near the wall. Allmendinger has been running the bottom. Now he'll go back to the high side as well, trying to mimic the line of the 22 and find some extra speed. One thing with the bottom lane, you're just losing way too much straightaway speed. You can't get the power down as quickly. You're not getting the extra run off the bank into the racetrack either. Allmendinger going to go to the high side this time as Cindric goes to the bottom, but Cindric did gap the first half of a lap and now has about 7/10 of a second on Allmendinger. Competition yellow should wave any second now, as we're at lap 25, which was the scheduled competition yellow run. I believe they got to wait for all the lead lap cars to make their way back to the start-finish line before that Cop Yellow waves. Of course, like most of the races this season, without any practice or qualifying, that is why we have been having competition yellows in the top 3 series in NASCAR. And there it is. Competition caution is out. Currently, the top 10, as you see on the leaderboard, is Austin Cindric in the lead, A.J. Allmendinger second, Daniel Hemrick third, Ty Gibbs fourth, Justin Allgaier rounds out the top 5, Noah Gragson up to 6th, Harrison Burton back to 7th, Justin Haley back to 8th, Brandon Jones back to 9th, and Riley Herbst will round out the top 10. Competition yellow, 20 laps to go in stage 1. We'll be seeing pit stops most likely with the wear on the tires here at Vegas, especially as the track is hot and slick, as mentioned a couple times already here tonight. That will definitely be the talking point throughout the course of this race. Definitely fun watching the cars slide around and the drivers trying to keep these unstable cars under control on this racetrack. Ryan Vargas will get the free pass during this competition caution in the 29th position. By the time we go green, we're only going to have maybe 15 laps to go in stage 1. We saw in the truck race last night with all the drama that ensued, especially in the final stage of the race. You need all the points you can get. We saw it last season in the round of 8 for the Cup Series as well, where Kevin Harvick was only 1 point below the cutoff line on both Denny Hamlin and Brad Keselowski, coming to the checkered flag before he eventually ended up spinning out off of turn 4 trying to get around Kyle Busch. So pit road is open. Most of the leaders staying out. Justin Allgaier will make his way to pit road. Remember, he was having some perhaps potential issues with some fluids leaking out of the back of the race car from underneath the race car, so they'll likely take a look at that. Not sure if they're going to exactly replace any tires. And they are jacking up the car. They have members of the team underneath the car trying to make a quick fix and hopefully keep the 7 car of Allgaier in the lead lap. But this is major track position losses. Again, he was in 5th. A chance to get a lot of stage points here, and now the chances of getting those stage points in stage 1 are going to be slim to none. Remember, these teams only have a select set of amount of tires they can use, so Allgaier's crew not looking like they're going to change tires right now, just strictly focusing on trying to figure out where that leak may be coming from underneath the race car. NBC going to go back to a commercial break. They will be going green when they come back, though, in just a couple of minutes. Tell you what, that bold prediction from Tim Irvin of Daniel Hemrick winning. He got up to third. He's got the cop yellow. He'll be bunched right back up there with the leaders now. Hemrick has never won a race in any of the top 3 series in NASCAR. He is a NASCAR Cup Series Rookie of the Year. That was in 2019. And he has made it to the Championship 4 in the Xfinity Series as well before. So he's definitely no stranger to running very, very consistently in this series. Definitely had many chances to win this year. Also announced earlier on in the week, actually today, that Daniel Hemrick will be taking over the 11 car for Kaulig Racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series starting in 2022. So this is his send-off with the 18 crew, which we have to assume Ty Gibbs is going to be coming up full-time to the Xfinity Series next year. What car will he run? And if they do have an extra car available, say if Gibbs stays in the 54 full-time, assuming Kyle Busch will not be running any Xfinity races, can we potentially look at Matt DiBenedetto moving into that Xfinity Series role? Because in my opinion, I think he would be the top candidate to take over an open JGR spot in the Xfinity Series, if that ride is available. And of course, he can't find anything in the Cup Series, but so right now, I don't think there's really anything left open and available in the Cup Series that wouldn't be a back market ride. That the best option may be to hop back to the Xfinity Series. And we've seen it rejuvenate some careers. We're currently seeing it over the last year and a half with A.J. Allmendinger. We've seen it with Justin Allgaier, Elliott Sadler. Matt DiBenedetto could definitely use some added boost there. And you never know if he could just get a win under his belt in any one of these top 3 series in NASCAR, even if it isn't in the Cup Series. That will build the confidence in not only himself, but whatever race team he would be running for. So Austin Cindric and A.J. Allmendinger elect to restart on the high side, as well as Daniel Hemrick. So the top 3 go to the high side of the racetrack, leaving Ty Gibbs to take the inside on the restart. So it'll be Austin Cindric and Ty Gibbs in row 1. We'll have 15 laps to go when we go green as I expected in stage number 1. Everybody on older tires. Only a few cars at the very tail end of the lead lap pitted. Not sure if they would have ended up taking tires or not. They were focused on the 7 of Allgaier, trying to diagnose his issues. Allgaier is back on the track, and he is still on the lead lap. Currently scored 27th, though. Long ways to go for Allgaier. He had to come from the back of the field last weekend to get himself a winning contention, and he was there at the end of the race. We'll see if he can do it here tonight at Las Vegas as well. Lap 31, as Cindric will lead the field into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air at Las Vegas. And it is Cindric and Allgaier in the front row. NBC made a mistake with their graphic on the screen. Oh, there's a crash at the back of the pack! On the restart, a ton of cars caught up in it. Jeb Burton, one of the playoff drivers involved. Sam Mayer's involved. They were 4 and nearly 5 wide getting into the first turn, and they stacked up quickly. Just outside the top 10, Jeremy Clements is torn up as well. Riley Herbst is involved. 3 or 4 playoff drivers have been taken out in stage 1, going 4 and 5 wide on the restart mid-pack. On the replay, they were 4 wide into the corner, and it looked like the one of Josh Berry just ran out of room. Herbst pulled down right into him. There was already a car underneath him. He got sandwiched, and once Herbst went around and collected many others behind. Jeb Burton and Riley Herbst just sandwiched the one of Josh Berry, and a big crash on the restart collected at least 8 or 9, if not more, cars. 3 of which in the playoffs. Allgaier, who was at the back of the pack, I believe, missed it. And it is not like it is cosmetic damage. Those were some big hits in there, and some heavy damage on drivers like Herbst. Clements' car is completely torn up, and his day is going to come to an end. Jeb Burton's got significant damage on the right side of his race car. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I counted 9 cars in the accident. Looked like there were about 9 cars involved. And that's not even counting Josh Berry, who did actually escape. He got sandwiched in the middle, but he actually did not spin. It was the 98 and the 10 that had spun around him. And Berry kind of went back up through the middle, and he was good to go. Riley Herbst climbing out of his race car. Herbst's night will come to an early end. Running the hometown South Point Casino paint scheme tonight. And immediately that is going to put Clements, Herbst, and Burton in a major hole in the playoffs and put drivers who are already above the color line coming into the race in a much better situation going into Talladega next week. So we're not even at the end of stage 1 yet. We got guys like Gregson, Hemrick 30 points above who didn't have a lot of playoff points coming in. Kyle Larson fan, welcome to the stream, by the way. Just a bad move. I'd say it was probably more on Herbst's fault, but they were 4 wide as well, and it's just way too early in the race to be doing that on a restart in general. Cars involved in the accident. Total playoff drivers and non-playoff drivers would include Riley Herbst, Jeb Burton, Sam Mayer, BJ McLeod was involved, Joe Graff Jr. was involved, Alex LeBay was involved, 26 of Dylan Lupton, Jeremy Clements, of course, and Carson Ware. Brandon Brown also involved. So I counted 9, trying to figure out exactly how many were involved. You guys can see on the screen that there were actually 11 cars in the accident. And we're under our first caution for incident. A big crash on the restart after the competition caution with 15 laps to go in stage 1. Still under yellow, so laps are ticking away for the stage. We'll have even less laps to go when we go green to the end of stage 1. And all of a sudden, there are now only 21 cars in the lead lap, with 11 of them being taken out in that accident. Some drivers involved in that accident will look like they are going to continue. I think Brandon Brown still scored in the lead lap. He was involved. Big for Justin Allgaier, quickly gaining over a dozen positions on the restart, missing the accident. Some cars that he is much faster than right in front of him for this next restart as well. You'd have to think that get around them quickly, and who knows, maybe he'll have a chance to steal some stage points after looking like he was going to miss out on them initially. I don't know how Josh Berry got through there with the way he got sandwiched going into the corner. Still a ton of debris on the racetrack in turns 1 and 2. Safety cars picking it up and still clearing the racetrack. Jeb Burton, 25 points below the cutoff line. Riley Herbst, 30 points below the cutoff line. Jeremy Clements, 34 points below the cutoff line with where they run, as they are now all out of the race. All three of them. And before the end of stage 1, so no stage points tonight. And that deficit will only grow more and more, assuming that drivers like Cindric, Allmendinger, Hemrick, Gregson, Haley, Burton, Allgaier, and Brandon Jones, who, outside of Allgaier, of those 8 drivers, are all in the top 10 already. So NBC's list is a lot longer than my list for drivers involved in the accident. Actually, now that I'm looking back at the replay, outside of a couple scuff marks on the one car of Josh Berry, it actually doesn't look like he's got a whole lot of damage. I'm just shocked. Still mind-boggled the way he got sandwiched in there that he doesn't have a whole lot of damage. That is one thing that is very true, though, with Talladega being the next race in the playoffs, is that Jeb Burton won there earlier this season, and not only that, but colleague racing in general has been solid at Talladega, and if they could work together, they could get Jeb Burton a win next week, and we could see all 3 colleague cars inside the round of 8. Really, Talladega beating Talladega, you never know if a guy like Clements or Riley Herbst can get it done as well. Herbst has an ARCA win at Talladega. Anything can happen. That big, bad, and fast racetrack. We'll be doing live commentary there for the Xfinity, for the Cup Series race next weekend at Talladega. That'll be a lot of fun. Some heart-stopping action going on, especially if my guy Blaney doesn't win tomorrow night. Gonna be a nervous wreck watching that race. Just hoping that nothing crazy happens on his behalf that would take him out of a potential good run. Hit the like button if you are watching right now. We have had up to 12 people watching at one point in time in this stream already. Still in stage 1 for the Alsco 302. It is the Xfinity Series playoff opener. First race of the round of 12. Still under the caution for a big crash Our first caution for incident right after the competition yellow is the restart after the competition caution. 4 wide getting into turn 1. Cars just kind of ran out of room. Riley Herbst and Jeb Burton had sandwiched Josh Berry in the middle. $11 cars total were involved in the accident, as listed on our screen. And AJ Allmendinger on the restart at the front of the pack had actually beaten Austin Cindric despite restarting on that 9 preferred inside lane. Going to give the field 1 to go this time, so they'll come to the choose cone. The restart was 7 laps to go in the stage. Justin Allgaier making his way back on the pit road again, it looks like, to try and look underneath that race car and see what is going on one last time. And actually, they have waved off the 1 to go, so they are not going to be going green the following time by. Not all the safety trucks are off the racetrack yet. Free pass, by the way, went to the 23 car, Blaine Perkins, in the 22nd position. Hopefully they get the green flag the following time by and get the 1 to go this time by. Allgaier again remains on the lead lap. How much more aggressive will these drivers at the front of the pack be earlier in the race after seeing that crash happen behind him? About to get an interview from Jeb Burton, and when that comes across, you guys will get to listen right here on the channel. The audio's delayed on my half right now, so the interview is happening as we speak, but the audio of it will be coming very soon. Here is Jeb Burton.
That is Jeb Burton talking to him way too soon today. What'd you see?
Some 4 wide, I guess. I didn't really see a replay yet, but not really sure why. 2 cars up there, 98. I don't know. It looked like we all met there, but I don't really think we need to be 4 wide getting into 1 on lap 26. So I don't know. Nothing we could do there. Frustrating. Needed a good run today, but we'll go to Talladega next week and go win a race.
How much comfort is there knowing that that's where your win came this year and how good Colleague runs on those tracks?
Yeah, we won there earlier in the year and almost won Daytona a couple weeks ago, so I know I can go do it and got the best team in the garage at the Speedway track, so we'll go get it done next week and then go to the Roval.
He's confident, guys, done for this week.
Yeah, in the hole now that he's in.
Definitely a dejected Jeb Burton. Next interview will be coming from Riley Herbst. Hopefully before the field goes green. They are stacked double wide down the back straightaway right now. So as Jim Burton stated, they did all kind of meet in the middle, but it did seem like Herbst probably moved the most. Here's Riley Herbst.
knows that the restarts are key. We're going to try to get you a look at this here. What do you feel like happened here at the start?
I think just kind of old tires, slick track. Everybody kind of spun their tires a little bit. I know the two behind me got a better run than I did into turn one, so I tried to shade down and give him the room he deserved because he got through the restart box better than I did. Yeah, here we go. Jumped to the outside, tried to block a little bit, gave it back to him, and then 4 wide, 5 wide into turn one. Doesn't always usually work out here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So that's a real bummer. We fired off pretty loose, but I thought we were going to get the South Point Ford Mustang a little bit better and have something to contend with. But I guess we'll go to Talladega where who knows what will happen.
Yeah, the hole's a little bit deeper, but how do you look forward?
I mean, the only thing really to do is go to Talladega and try to race. We've led every single play track we've been to this year, so led some laps, so I'm a little confident in that area. It just sucks, man. Just all the support from South Point and Ford and Monster Energy coming back here, back home, and to be wrecked out like that in stage one just really sucks.
Rick?
They added a lap, and so they're coming back around.
Green flag about to wave as the cars enter into the Geico restart zone. 5 laps to go in stage 1 at Las Vegas. Green flag back in the air as Allmendinger gets the jump on the high side on Gibbs. Will easily clear into turn 1. Cindric will easily clear into turn 1 for second place behind him as Gibbs is now battling Hemrick off for third. Gibbs and Hemrick still side by side down the back straightaway. 3 wide further back between Brandon Jones, Ryan Sieg, and Justin Haley. Still 3 wide into the corner as Sieg sends it off to pass the 11. Hemrick gets a run off the high side off turn 4 further up towards the front of the field to clear Ty Gibbs in the 54. Side by side for 5th place as well between Harrison Burton and Noah Gragson through the tri-oval into turn 1. And Daniel Hemrick goes on the attack on the restart as he climbs to second place, slide jiving his way past the 22 of Cindric. Few car lengths off the race lead now is Hemrick, trying to close in on the 16 of Allmendinger. He'll have 3 laps to go in stage 1 to try and get the playoff point. And of course, those crucial 10 stage points for this current round that they are in. And as far as the stage points go, Justin Haley with an absolutely terrible restart. He has now fallen all the way back to 12th place and is one of the remaining playoff drivers in position to not get stage points along with the 7 of Justin Allgaier. 2 to go this time by. Hemrick a little bit faster than Allmendinger that last lap. Maybe a little bit better on older tires as the 18 of Hemrick. Hemrick running the bottom lane. Allmendinger kind of running about a lane off the bottom, closer to the middle. Hemrick again hooking that white line in the corner. Allmendinger a much wider entrance into the corner, but he does end up down on the bottom by the exit. Final lap in the stage. Lap car in the way of the 93. Allmendinger widen that gap back out on Hemrick again that last time. Hemrick with a last-second surge to the high side as Allmendinger runs the middle again through 1 and 2 as they go around the bumps that were lined up on the inside. One final time into turns 3 and 4. A.J. Allmendinger will win stage number 1 at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, collecting another playoff point on the season. 10 stage points for this current round of 12. Daniel Hemrick will end up second in the stage, followed by Austin Cindric third, Ty Gibbs fourth. Noah Gragson rounds out the top 5. Harrison Burton 6th, Ryan Sieg 7th, Brandon Jones 8th, Josh Berry after being sandwiched going into the accident. He still comes out the other end, finishing 9th in stage 1, and then rounding out the top 10 was Our Motorsports' Brett Moffitt. Stage 1 in the books. And the first 45 laps are complete. Nearly a quarter of the race is in. So our third caution of the race total, but again, we've had only one for incident. Competition yellow, a big 11-car crash on the restart after the competition caution. And now the stage break here in stage 1. Now I can guarantee that they will for sure be having pit stops, as they will need fuel to make it to the end of stage 2 from here. And I would imagine these crews will tack on 4 tires as well. Free pass is the 61 of David Starr. So David Starr will get the free pass during the stage break. Next live stream on the channel will be tomorrow afternoon on the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode as we go to Road America for the NASCAR Cup Series side of things. Just 2 races to go until the playoffs of our own on our final season of the career mode for NASCAR Heat 5 before, of course, the long and highly anticipated release of NASCAR 21 Ignition. Just 31 days away, 30 days away tomorrow from the early release for those who have pre-ordered. Start time for that stream will be tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So again, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Road America, NASCAR Heat 5 career mode. And of course, the Cup race later on tomorrow night, but we will not be doing live commentary of that because we are doing the live commentary for the Xfinity Series race this weekend. Hence the live stream right now. Pit road is open this time by. Crews are on the wall and ready for the cars to make their way into the box. Olmendinger leads the field onto pit road. Cindric having that first box on pit road entry. Oh, and the Jackman falls over on Cindric. The 22 team's Jackman falls over going around the front of the race car. He gets up quickly, but that is going to cost him time on his stop. And we'll have to see on the exit of pit lane how many spots Cindric may lose. Definitely cause for a delayed stop. He's going to lose at least 1 spot to Brandon Jones. Another spot to Harrison Burton. Hemrick. Olmendinger will win the race off pit road. Sorry, no. Hemrick actually beat the 16 off of the pit lane. Cindric loses 2 spots. Biggest gainer, Brandon Jones, gaining 5 spots. Ty Gibbs, biggest loser of the top 10, losing 3. Allgaier gains 4. He's back inside the top 10. So Hemrick did, by a nose, beat off A.J. Allmendinger from the pit lane. Down in the chat, let me know if you guys are enjoying the race so far. I know it's early on. A lot of caution laps after that big accident. Pretty much from about lap 25 on. I think we've only had 5 green flag laps so far in the last 20, 25 laps. But we'll see how this is going to play out. Interview from fellow playoff driver Jeremy Clements. Right. Well, coming up very soon. I keep forgetting that my TV is live and the what I'm getting in my ear is delayed significantly. The only reason I have the audio on in the first place is so I can listen to, well, obviously so I know when the interviews are coming up so you guys can listen to the interviews, but it'll likely be the final interview from the accident unless they interview Sam Mayer as well. Here's Jeremy Clements.
Made mistakes in front of Jeremy Clements, who appeared to have a good plan, come down, get fresh rubber, but then he got caught up. What'd you see?
It's all hell broke loose. Man, I'm just shocked. I'm bummed. We didn't even get to see what our first Pacific Funding Chevy was capable of. We were really loose start, got tires. I feel like I was gonna come on the outside and blow through half of them right there and go up there and get some stage points. But that didn't work out. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see if our first Pacific Funding Chevy would be as fast as Xfinity Internet. I hate it for Steve Carnes, Jeff O'Day, everybody. It was Vivian's birthday, the boss's wife. It was her birthday today, so we didn't do a good job. But wow, yeah, it looks like a freaking wreck at Daytona. But hate it for our guys, hate it for our partners. We'll just be strong next week and try to rebound somehow.
Were you in full shade, or was the sun any factor coming down the straightaway into that?
No, past that point we were fine. It's just coming off four where you couldn't see great, but yeah, I didn't have any problems with that then.
All right, on to Talladega for Jeremy. A chance to dig out when he gets there, guys.
Pit road penalty for Noah Gragson and the 9 team. Too many boxes on entry. Cannot drive through more than 3 pit boxes, both on your pit entrance and pit exit into your box. Gragson violated that rule. He will have to restart at the rear of the field. Drivers who did take tires that will restart at the front of the field during the Comp Yellow, that is, they took tires, would be the 31 of Ty Dillon and the 68 of Brandon Brown. And Brandon Brown actually only took 2 tires when he did pit, so he may be saving a couple. Little strategy there. Pace truck rolls onto pit road. Green flag is going to be back in the air as Ty Dillon will be the control car in the outside lane. The 68 of Brown stacks up the inside as he spins the tires. And here comes Allgaier down to the inside, 3x3 into turn 1. Daniel Hemrick, the first driver on fresher tires that will get up to second place. He's on the back of Ty Dillon for the lead in turns 3 and 4. Going to have to make the move quick before anybody else on fresher tires starts to close in on him. Right now it's Brandon Jones, who's only a couple car lengths back in third. Sandwich still 3 wide getting into the next corner. Hemrick will get the run now in that middle groove on the 31 who took the bottom. Pulling clear off the exit. 4 wide down the back straightaway. Will they make it into turn 3? At the back of the pack, Josh Berry, Brett Moffitt, Brandon Jones, A.J. Allmendinger were all in the mix back there 4 wide. For about 6th or 7th place. Hemrick being very patient and trying to pass the 31 of Ty Dillon, who's on a little bit older tires right now. That Jordan Anderson Racing machine Ty Dillon is running in. Also sponsored by South Point Casino, and now we have a caution on the racetrack. As Ryan Sieg has crashed in turns 1 and 2. Cautions breeding cautions in the early going of the Alsco 302. It looks like C's car just stepped out on him on the outside, and he backed it into the outside wall. Fortunate he was not able to make the clean save that time. And actually, it looked like he got clipped by another car. On the way down the racetrack is where he got the damage on the left rear. He did actually save it as far as keeping it off the wall, but They were about 3 wide behind him, trying to miss him as he continues to peel debris on his way back onto pit road. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Might have been the 48 car that had gotten into the left rear of Ryan Sieg as he was coming down the racetrack. Brandon Jones is scored in 22nd right now, and I don't know if maybe he is coming onto pit road again or what the issue is there. NBC on a commercial break currently, but on our leaderboard he is shown in 22nd, so maybe he had a penalty on the restart. Maybe he changed lanes too soon. He was on the inside and moved up high, or maybe he was on the outside and then pulled low before they got to the start-finish line. We'll get confirmation of that when NBC comes back to coverage. Currently, you're watching, or at least listening, to the Alsco 302 on the channel. And like, share, subscribe if you haven't already for more daily NASCAR content. We do full race live streams with the live commentary of actual races on the weekend, like this weekend. Next weekend, we'll be back at it again with the NASCAR Cup Series race at Talladega. I believe it is a 2 p.m. Eastern Standard start time next weekend for that 500-mile event. It'll be the second race of the round of 12 for the NASCAR Cup Series side of things, and that will be on the main NBC network as well. So ever since that competition caution, we have been getting caution after caution, have not had a more than 5-lap green flag run since, plaguing the average speed and the race length early on. This race started in the daylight. It was going to be close on whether or not it was going to end in the nighttime. With all these cautions coming in, it is becoming more and more likely and apparent that it will be dark by the end of the race, and that is significant because the track will slowly gain a little bit of grip as the track temperature cools down into the nighttime and as the sun starts to go down at the end of the day. Well, NBC's back onto the coverage now, but unfortunately my audio's like a minute or two behind. I'm going to assume it's a lane violation penalty on the 19. That's what I'm guessing. I didn't see it, but with it being after the restart like that, I'm guessing it was a lane violation. They're showing a replay on my TV screen. No, there's no penalty there for Brandon Jones. So they brought the 19 car down onto pit road, stating that the right rear tire did not have all the lug nuts on it. Brandon didn't radio anything in to the crew, but the crew had radioed to Brandon that they were perhaps missing some lug nuts on that race car. So they brought him back onto pit road. They did not change tires. They just simply screwed on a couple more lug nuts and they were good to go. But they will have to restart back in the 22nd position this time around. We'll see if the field will get the one to go signal this time by as well. Hopefully get back to green here very shortly. Yeah, AJ Allmendinger was back in that 4-wide pack from about 6th on back on that restart, about a lap or two in, and he lost a ton of positions on the outside lane with that happening and having to check up out of the gas multiple times down the straightaway. Allmendinger currently scored in the 10th position. Remember, he won stage 1, and we're only 13 laps into stage 2. He's already back to 10th. He was also the first car in the inside lane, stuck behind Brandon Brown, who spun his tires on the restart as well. Stalled out Cindric as well, dropped Cindric back to 5th. Of course, not nearly as far back as AJ Allmendinger. One to go this time by as they head to the choose cone. 31 of Ty Dillon still leads this race, so elect the outside of the restart. While the 18 of Hemrick quickly goes to the bottom. Harrison Burton going to go down there with his teammate. All three Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas, Hemrick, Burton, and Gibbs in that order, will line up on the inside. Then the high side in the first 3 rows will be Ty Dillon on older tires, Justin Allgaier, and Austin Cindric. So I'm thinking that the Gibbs cars those 3 Gibbs cars went to the inside not only for the team alliance perhaps, but I think simply just because they're maybe thinking that Ty Dillon is going to spin his tires on the restart like we saw Brandon Brown do on old tires on the last restart. (1,030) laps led, 9 second-place finishes in Daniel Hemrick's NASCAR Xfinity Series career that stretches over 100 races, 113 to be exact. Could tonight be the night? He was second at the end of stage 1. He'll be lining up on the front row in the restart with the freshest tires, first driver on fresher tires. Still very early in the race, but he definitely looks like one of the more sporty race cars in this one. Pace truck pulling onto pit road. Hopefully we can get a green flag run in this time. Green flag back in the air as Ty Dillon will lead the field into the Geico restart zone and now to the start-finish line. Dillon actually took off very well, and it was Hemrick who struggled on the restart, even on fresher tires, being in that non-preferred inside lane. That holdback by Hemrick allows Justin Allgaier to clear for second place, who had an issue at the end of stage 1, caught a break with the yellows, and he's back up to second place. Aggressive move by Josh Berry into turn 1 as he gets underneath of Ty Gibbs for position. Daniel Hemrick battling his teammates side by side for third place. 20 of Harrison Burton, that is. Cindric on the high side right behind Burton. And Hemrick goes from restarting second back to 4th, maybe even 5th, as the 22 car now will get a run down the back straightaway, and he'll get by Hemrick. Burton all over the back of the 7 as somehow, on older tires, Ty Dillon holds on to the lead. Hemrick continuing to lose spots on the restart. Josh Berry will get around him on the high side through 1 and 2. Hemrick trying to charge back on the bottom lane in 3 and 4 and pulls back alongside Berry into the tri-oval. It has been racy all night long from the drop of the green flag, and at the front of the field, the fastest cars are stacking up behind the 31 of Ty Dillon. Allgaier is there first, and he is going to now be all over the back of Ty Dillon into turn 3. Tries to take a tad bit of clean air, running a lane off the bottom with the 31 hooked to the white line. Allgaier gets that little extra speed off the exit of the corner, but cannot get around Dillon. Dillon leads another lap at the line. Ty Dillon's last and only career Xfinity win at Indy in 2014. 7 years plus running part-time throughout really all 3 series of NASCAR this year. Was called upon to race that number 31 machine for Jordan Anderson. Allgaier takes the dive down to the bottom, but Dillon protects the inside, trying to take the air off the front of the 7. You can tell in the center of the corner who has the better car with the newer tires, as it just seems like Dillon is sliding around just a tad bit more. Allgaier just trying to force him into an issue at this point, perhaps. Now Allgaier goes up a lane. He'll get the run on the high side off of turn 2, and they're side by side for the lead down the back straightaway. An aggressive side draft on the high side as well by Allgaier, and he will clear into turn 3. First lead of the race for Justin Allgaier tonight at Las Vegas, lap 66. Harrison Burton in third place, now going to try to run down the 31. And perhaps maybe now that Ty Dillon has lost the clean air, we'll see if he starts to fade back through the field. Almost some contact back there between JGR teammates of Daniel Hemrick and Ty Gibbs. A couple laps ago as Gibbs has fended off Hemrick for the position briefly. They are battling for 5th. Austin Cindric was just made his way around Harrison Burton for a spot. Burton going to lose another spot to Ty Gibbs, and now Hemrick will slide underneath him into 3 as well. Burton losing a ton of spots all of a sudden. Falling from 3rd back to 6th place. Burton shuts the door, or at least tried to on the 18. They may have made contact into turn 1 as Hemrick will slide up in front of his teammate. Josh Berry all over the back of the 20 of Burton now, and he's looking to make a pass for position. Berry survived that massive accident earlier in the race. Has to jump out of the gas on corner exit. Gregson and Moffitt almost ran into the back of him off turn 4, and now they're 3 wide. What a move by Moffitt to go down to the apron of the racetrack to avoid the 9 and the 1 who were slower after that checkup off turn 4, and Moffitt has gained 2 spots, moving himself now up to the 7th position for Our Motorsports. Unsponsored all-white race car. And Moffitt's got some speed here tonight as he goes to the high side. That'll give him a run now through the tri-oval to try and make a pass on the 20 of Harrison Burton, who ran the bottom. Moffitt to the high side. On the attack, Brett Moffitt will take over the 6th place position. Moffitt running all the way near the wall. Really the only driver inside the top 10 that is running right next to the wall. There's some drivers running further up off of the bottom of the track, more towards the middle, but nobody has been as high as the 0-2 so far. Now Daniel Hemrick, that time in 3 and 4, has moved up the racetrack. Burton battling back to the inside of the 0-2. He's tired of losing position, side drafting Moffitt through the tri-oval. NBC Sports going with the side-by-side coverage, so we'll keep the live commentary going. Quick crossover by the 20 of Burton, back to the inside of the 0-2. Here comes Gregson up high, 3 wide for position. Incredible battle for 6, and now Gregson makes the 3 wide move on the top, using the lap car on the bottom as a pick as Burton has to get out of the gas again, and Moffitt will charge back after Burton into turn 3. Crisscrossing back and forth between those 3 drivers. Berry now to the inside of Burton off the exit of turn 4. Burton shakes a little bit again, and Berry is easily clear off the exit of the corner. Current top 10 in Stage 2 runs like this. Justin Allgaier, the leader. Ty Dillon hanging on to second place. He's the highest running non-playoff driver. Austin Cindric in third. Ty Gibbs fourth. Daniel Hemrick rounds out the top 5. Noah Gragson sixth. Brett Moffitt seventh. Josh Berry eighth. Harrison Burton ninth. And A.J. Allmendinger rounds out the top 10. Allmendinger had won Stage 1. 3 playoff drivers out of the race if you're just tuning in. Jeb Burton, Riley Herbst, and Jeremy Clements. Perhaps the 3 bigger of the underdogs coming into the round of 12 for the Xfinity Series playoffs. All collected in a crash off the restart in Stage 1 after the competition caution, trying to go 4 wide into Turn 1. Ran out of real estate. Caused not only those 3 to crash, but also caused a bunch of other cars to crash around them. 11 cars total were involved in the accident, and that is why you only see 23 drivers on the lead lap. Despite the lack of green flag laps that we have had due to a bunch of cautions, Ryan Sieg also went for a spin. Jake Buford had gotten into his left rear on the restart to the beginning of Stage 2 as well. Those are the 2 cautions for incident. Justin Haley's been pretty slow compared to most of the other playoff drivers. Back in the 11th position, Brandon Jones also had to make an unscheduled pit stop at the end of stage number 1. Did not get all the lug nuts on the right rear tire during the stage break pit stops, so that's why he had to restart at the back. He has climbed his way back up to the 12th spot, about a second behind where Justin Haley is at on the racetrack. Allgaier is up the gap to about 1.6 seconds over Ty Dillon. And I'd have to expect at this point in the run that the tires that Dillon's got in his car are probably fairly even with everybody else around him, and that is why he is able to maintain his second place position, because he's still a little over half a second even ahead of Cindric in third. Barry and Moffitt continue to battle for position just like we left off before the ad break. Side by side for 7th through turns 3 and 4 once again. Barry on the inside, Moffitt, of course, on the high side as he was running before the commercial break as well. Moffitt just cannot pull clear. Barry sends it down on the bottom of the track again. He is clear as he slides up off the exit of the corner. Lap car, the 90 may have gotten in his way. Got to give Moffitt a massive run down the back straightaway. Now we'll see if Moffitt will try another move to the bottom. Barry protects down there, giving up the outside to Moffitt near the wall. So Barry is clear. We'll see if he can pull away. Not going to quite pull away. The battle will continue again into turn 1. Moffitt is digging right now on that higher lane. Meanwhile, Harrison Burton continues to go backwards. He's got the calling cards of A.J. Allmendinger and Justin Haley all over him. Allmendinger will complete the pass for 9th place. Haley ran the top. He'll get a run now with the 20 of Burton, trying to pick him behind the lap car. Oh my goodness, they're 4 wide, trying to split the lap car in the 90. Into the tri-oval, and they'll funnel into double file by the time they get into turn 1. What a move by Justin Haley up the middle. 4 wide to pass both Allmendinger and Burton. Burton with a block on his teammate Jones has closed the gap now down the back straightaway as we have a 4-car battle for 9th place. Allmendinger back to the inside of the track as he gets under his teammate of Justin Haley. Slides up, can't clear. Haley clears down the straightaway. Allmendinger definitely looks a lot looser and unstable compared to his teammate Haley. Did pick the same lane as him that last time through, which maybe could have caused some dirty air to push the car up the track, but it definitely looks like the rear of the car is hanging out a little bit more on corner exit as he tries to pick the throttle back up. Big slide job incoming by Allmendinger on the bottom of the racetrack. Justin Haley up high. Allmendinger will pull clear off turn 4. Haley going to get the massive run through the tri-oval, now drafting off Allmendinger back to the start-finish line. Haley going to look low for a brief moment, shoots to the high side instead at the last second. Allmendinger again down low. And now Haley actually backed the corner up enough to run the bottom. He entered just a lot wider into the corner, trying to catch as much clean air on corner exit as he could to keep the car from shoving up the racetrack. And now Haley, with a slide job of his own on the other end of the track, will take the move to the inside. Lap car will be in the way, though, off turn 4, and he'll have to move up behind Allmendinger again. Burton and Jones have lost the battle of the colleague cars all of a sudden, and perhaps Jones is held up behind his slower teammate Burton. Both outside the top 10 with just 5 laps to go in stage 2. Luckily for him, 3 of the playoff drivers are out of the race, but you still want to get all the points you can. You never know what could happen. Not only the rest of this race, of course, with the wild start, but Talladega next week and the Roval the week after to end the opening round of the playoffs for the Xfinity Series. 2 very highly unpredictable racetracks. Vegas with the trucks and the Xfinity Series already this weekend is deemed almost just as unpredictable. As far as the playoff implications go, it is known to have been doing that for the Cup Series the last couple years as well. We'll have to see if that will continue into tomorrow night's race. That race on NBC Sports Network, and that will begin at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Three laps to go in stage 2. Allgaier's got about 2.5 seconds over Ty Dillon. Dillon still got about 0.7 of a second or so on Austin Cindric for second. Allgaier trying to lap as many cars as he possibly can. Pit road is now closed with 2 laps to go on the stage. Wasn't expecting anybody to come down anyway. Side by side for second place into turns 3 and 4. Austin Cindric to the bottom of the track. Ty Dillon to the top. Dillon almost slid into the wall on corner exit trying to hang it out, but he still gets the run off the exit of the corner and the banking, fending off that battle. Half a lap remains in the stage. Cindric just a tad higher than Dillon, but the lap car on the bottom will be in the way. Cindric to the back bumper of the 21, gave him a shot down the back straightaway. Now Cindric sends it into turns 3 and 4 on the inside of the track. He's not going to have time to pull up the racetrack as Dillon gets the run on corner exit. And Dillon will slide back by the 22 to get the stage point. Meanwhile, at the front, Justin Allgaier has won stage 2. Ty Dillon second. Austin Cindric third. Gregson up to 4th. Hemrick rounds out the top 5 in stage 1. Josh Berry 6th. Ty Gibbs 7th. Brett Moffitt 8th. A.J. Allmendinger 9th. And Justin Haley rounds out the top 10 in stage 2. It's the 3rd stage win of the season for Justin Allgaier. Free pass goes to Ryan Sieg during the stage break. Or sorry, not Ryan Sieg. Ryan Vargas, excuse me, during the stage break. Vargas in the 19th position. Segan, I believe he might be out of the race after he had spun earlier. I mean, he didn't have too much damage. No, there he is. He's on the lead lap still. Ryan Sieg's in 14th. Jade Buford, who was also involved in that accident, his damage is slowing him down maybe a little bit more. Didn't have quite as competitive as equipment as Sieg as well, but he is 27, 2 laps down. For those of you just tuning in, we are right at the end of Stage 2 in the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoff opener. Justin Allgaier just won Stage 2. AJ Allmendinger was the winner in Stage 1. $111 laps on tap for the final stage. By the time they go green, they'll probably have just over 100 to go. They will have to make a scheduled pit stop at some point in time in the final stage. Maybe borderline 2-stopper. We'll have to wait and see. Definitely, depending on how the cautions play out, we could easily see more than one stop, and we have had quite a few. We've only had 2 per incident. I guess with the stage breaks and the comp yellow, it makes it feel like we've had a lot more cautions than what we actually have. All 3 series racing at Talladega next week in the Xfinity Series will be starting at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. And I believe the truck race is at 1 Eastern Standard Time next week. So they're running a doubleheader on Saturday with the Cup race that we are commentating on Sunday. Pit road is open this time by Justin Allgaier will lead the field down. That 22 crew are going to look to try and better what they did on the first stop when the Jackman had fallen over, rounding the front of the race car. They lost a couple positions that put him back in traffic. Made his way back up to 3rd by the end of the stage. .5-second stop for Austin Cindric. 13.3 for Justin Allgaier. Also showing Noah Gregson's time. An even slower stop, 14.1 for Gregson. And Justin Allgaier will win the race off pit road. Cindric will gain 1 spot up to 2nd. Daniel Hemrick gains 2 spots. Noah Gregson in 4th. Ty Dillon, big loser on pit road, losing 8 positions. Unfortunate because he was 2nd at the end of Stage 2. Now he's back to 10th for this Stage 3 restart. I'm surprised with over a 14-second stop that Gregson did not lose any positions on pit road. Went in 4th, came out 4th. Now, I know Hemrick had jumped in front of him, but with the 31 of Dillon losing a bunch of positions, that Gregson was able to get whatever spot he lost right back. Just over half the race remains, but it's the best half. It's the second half of the race. So try to amp things up, winding down to the finish of the playoff opener for the Xfinity Series. We were taking some predictions from you guys in the chat earlier on, before the start of the race. My prediction was AJ Allmendinger to win. He won Stage 1. Not as hot of a finish in Stage 2. He's back up to the 7th place spot. Decent pit stop. Both the Kaulig cars, Justin Haley up to 6th as well. Josh Berry also lost 3 spots on pit road as well. I think those were the only 2 cars in the top 10 that lost spots on pit road would have been Berry and Snyder. Or sorry, Berry and Dillon. Snyder gained a few, and that puts him up to 8th. Ty Gibbs, the only non-playoff driver in the top 5. As of right now, he's pretty much ran 5th through 7th all night long. It's weird having Dale Jr. and Dale Jarrett down on the Peacock pit box on pit road, and then having Brad Doherty with Jeff Burton in the commentating booth. Looked like Ty Dillon had actually gotten into the wall at the end of the stage there, running the high side through 3 and 4. Had a bit of a tire up with smoke coming out on the right side. Likely buffed that out while they were in the pits that time, but it's up to 4th. It looks like somebody's dropping in the back for the restart. Noah Gragson may have another penalty. Remember, he had a pit road penalty earlier in the race for driving through too many pit boxes on his way into his pit. Gregson came off pit road in 4th. He comes back down. So he's got the longest route of any to begin the final stage. I like how, yeah. I was going to say, I noticed that Rick Allen and Brad Doherty were sitting in their seats and Jeff Burt was standing up, and then they both stood up on camera, and Jeff Burt was left in the middle. He's like a full foot or more smaller than... My goodness. Green flag is back in the air at Las Vegas. Final stage underway. Allgaier on the high side of the racetrack. He will pull clear down the backstretch, side by side for second, and 3 wide pass there for Allmendinger to get up to 4th place around his teammate Justin Haley and Ty Gibbs, who was in the middle. Cars rumbling now down onto the front stretch. Allmendinger on the attack will quickly get by Hemrick for 3rd as well. Oh, almost some contact further back in the pack. Brandon Jones nearly got squeezed into the wall by Ty Dillon, who slipped up the track trying to make the pass. Moffitt going to get around Dillon now for position as they battle for the 10th spot. Mike Snyder and Josh Berry in line behind them. Jones on the attack. Cannot quite make the pass on Moffitt, who squeezes him on the white line, not allowing him to get the corner exit. Half a second advantage already for Allgaier over Cindric. Another half a second back between Cindric and Allmendinger, but Allmendinger has been the biggest mover a few laps in after the restart. Came out of the pits in 7th, and he's already up to 3rd. Myatt Snyder is on the move as well. Remember, he has a win on a bumpier mile-and-a-half track. Earlier this season, he won at Homestead. That is why he is in the playoffs. Snyder makes the pass on Justin Haley for 7th place. Good run for that 2 team tonight. Justin Allgaier has led the most laps to this point, majority of them coming into his Stage 2 victory. He had an eventful start after a possible oil line issue and was possibly leaking fluids out on the racetrack. Had to sacrifice getting stage points in Stage 1 while he was inside the top 5 early on, running through 3rd through 5th for that opening stage. But it will all be worth it if he can get the victory by the end of this race. And how crucial a win would be for any of these playoff drivers not having to worry about Talladega or the Roval. Brandon Jones going to pull to the bottom and pull up the track, clear on Justin Haley off turn 2. That was a pass for 8th place. About 5.5 seconds off the lead is Brandon Jones. We'll see how long of a green flag run we get into this final stage. How aggressive some of these drivers are in the middle of the pack using their tires on a track that is very bumpy, especially in that inside line. A lot of these teams have only pit for tires twice, giving them about 2 sets left to the finish. Cindric is continuously losing ground to Justin Allgaier as well as AJ Allmendinger. Although Allmendinger is losing time to Allgaier, he's slowly gaining on Cindric for 2nd at about 6 to 7 tenths of a second off the back of the 22 car. The top 3 were the 3 that were battling for the win at Bristol last weekend, going 3 wide back and forth, beating and banging, coming to the line when Allmendinger got the win by inches, sliding across the line, crashing across the line with the 22 of Cindric. Not only getting the win, but getting the regular season championship along with it. Some much needed playoff points, especially with how wild the playoffs have already started off in this opening race from the get-go. The biggest gap really is from where Allgaier is back to 6th place. Daniel Hemrick already 6.7 seconds off the lead. Josh Berry is on the move up to the 5th spot. Of course, a teammate of Justin Allgaier. He's the 2nd highest running junior motorsport car in this race, and you wonder if they have similar setup, similar race cars. Maybe Berry could have the long run speed to try and catch Justin Allgaier. Berry not in the playoffs, we're only running part-time in the Xfinity Series, but he did have a win at Martinsville earlier this season when he was in the 8 car for JRM. Now Sam Mayer driving the 8 car for the rest of the season. Unfortunately, Mayer was taken out as one of the innocent bystanders in that early caution back on lap 30. That's kind of been the rough season so far for Sam Mayer in the Xfinity series. A lot of bad luck. And then the times it seems like he does have a good car and is running up towards the front, it seems like he has either more bad luck, like last week at Bristol, getting dumped while he was in second, or making a mistake of his own, kind of like he did at the Indy Road Course when battling Chase Elliott, who was his teammate for the race weekend, inside the top 5. Took him out of a potential chance to win that day as well. Cindric starting to slip away from Allmendinger. He's over a second ahead of him now. NBC comes back from the commercial break. They were side by side through it, though. But a 1.1 second lead still between the 7 and the 22. We have not seen a green flag run longer than 25 laps in this race. So we don't know exactly how the cars are going to react. Plus, the nighttime sky continues to darken, changing the racetrack with these cooling temperatures. What started off as a hot, slick track is still a slick track, but maybe not as hot as what it was at the start of the race when the green flag dropped. Noah Gragson, after restarting at the rear of the field, has made his way up to 7th. I did not hear why he restarted at the rear of the field, whether it was a penalty or maybe they had some loose lug nuts on the race car, but he is back up to 7th and is actually only a car length or 2 behind Daniel Hemrick for 6th, which is actually pretty incredible, and Gragson could be the fastest car on the track right now. Another Junior Motorsport teammate along with Allgaier, and of course we've seen Barry having some speed early on in the stage as well. We'll see if Gragson can keep that pace up, though, if we have a long green flag run this time. Currently looking at the cutoff line, it is changing back and forth between Myatt Snyder and Brandon Jones with where they are currently on the racetrack. And it's with each other nonetheless, because Myatt Snyder is in 8th and Brandon Jones is in 9th. Only 4 points ahead is Burton. 9 points ahead is Haley, and then a bigger gap, 26 points ahead, would be Gragson. So it is definitely tight. Temperatures inside the race cars definitely getting hot, cooling off a tad as the sun's starting to go down. It's down to about 114 degrees, at least inside Hemrick's car. Definitely like wanting to, it's pretty much equivalent with sitting inside an oven. Be the best interpretation that I could. Not interpretation. I'm not going to actually step inside an oven. I don't think you guys would want to see that anyway. Yeah. What Brad Doherty said, he said, but it's a dry heat. That's hilarious. I never understood that either. Like, granted, I've never been, like, out west, like, in desert heat. I've only felt, like, humidity whenever it's hot outside. 100 degrees is 100 degrees, whether it's humidity or it's dry. Like, I would have to imagine. Last lap again, it looked like Cindric was quicker than Allgaier, and they're kind of fluctuating back and forth as they get into heavier lap traffic. Cindric stayed in that 1.1 to 1.3 second deficit, and now we have a caution on the racetrack. Spin in turns 3 and 4. Justin Haley has an issue. Problems for another playoff driver, Justin Haley. Doesn't look like there is really any damage on the race car. Was on the outside, spun down the track just barely. Missed the 0-2 of Brett Moffitt. May have just stepped it a little over the line on corner entry as he slid in front of the 0-2. Actually, no, we got a little help. So Haley wanted the high side. He pulled clear 3/4 of the way down the backstretch. And when he pulled clear, he must have got out of the gas, and Moffitt ran into the back of him. That spun Haley around. And Moffitt barely missed the 11 to the inside. It looked like he kept it off the wall, though. Great job not damaging that race car for either one of those two, really. Both having good days. I'd say Moffitt's probably having the better of the 2 days, considering his equipment versus Haley's, but Haley's been running pretty much about 8th to 11th most of the race. A few stage points in this one. So interesting pit strategy going to start to unfold with these teams only having 2 sets of tires left at the end of the race. Will we see a lot of drivers pit here? Maybe some drivers going to save a set. We only ran about 20 laps under green. 20 to 25 laps, which is as far as we've had on a tire stint so far in the race prior to that. And it looks like the entire field will actually be on pit road. So Justin Allgaier will lead the field into the pits. .1 second stop for Austin Cindric. A 13.4 second stop, just 0.3 of a second slower for Justin Allgaier. Allgaier is ahead of Cindric on the pit lane. They are side by side right now. AJ Allmendinger, 13.1. Very close off pit road. Allgaier will win the race. Cindric will be second. Ty Gibbs gains a spot to third. Allmendinger loses a spot back to fourth. Noah Gragson back inside the top 5. Don't forget about Noah having a shot here. All 4 of those drivers were nearly within a car length as they came across the pit exit line. Free pass will go to the 61 of David Starr. Second time he has gotten the free pass today after the caution and the spin from Justin Haley off the front bumper of Brett Moffitt into turn 3. Our third caution for incident of the day and our 6th caution total. If we exclude the cop yellow and the 2 stage breaks. Currently just less than 80 laps to go. And even with these drivers pitting now, they're still 1 pit stop out from the end of the race. They will not be able to go on fuel from now to the finish. And each team has 1 set of tires remaining to be able to make that stop. Showing a major high package between the Harvick and Elliott confrontation last weekend at Bristol. Definitely excited for tomorrow night's Cup race. I'm anxiously awaiting the arrival of that race. Because my guy, Ryan Blaney, having a career season. I really hope. I hope something crazy happens that he's got a shot. I will lose it. It will be going green with 76 laps to go as the field has gotten the 1 to go signal. There was no debris or anything to pick up, so this is a pretty quick yellow flag as Haley was able to make the save when he had spun and never flat spotted any tires in doing so, causing debris for some tire particles coming off the race car as well. On the restart, Snyder and Brandon Jones are tied on the cutoff line, and that is going to be tight all the way through the playoffs in general, but especially as you see in this round of 12. Talladega may definitely be the difference maker next week. Ty Gibbs on the inside lane with Justin Allgaier on the outside lane. Green flag back in the air at Vegas. Gibbs going to spin the tires on the bottom, stacking up a couple cars back. 3 wide goes Myatt Snyder underneath the 18 and the 9. Gibbs ends up alongside Allgaier, though, down the back straightaway. Trying to side draft him. Got a heck of a push from Allmendinger on corner entry that kept him alongside the 7. Didn't last too much longer on the inside into 3 and 4, though, and Cindric will pull up to second place. Big run for Noah Gragson to the outside of A.J. Allmendinger for 4th. Josh Berry and Daniel Hemrick door to door as well, right behind those two in 6th. Gragson and Allmendinger still side by side down the backstretch into turn 3, as well as Berry and Hemrick. Fun watching these drivers have to work the throttle when they're side by side. Who can get back to the gas sooner and trust the race car to keep control off the exit of the corner. Allmendinger down low finally clears Gragson. Gragson had to lift, and now Berry is underneath Noah for 6th. 5th place, rather, and Berry is clear into turn 3. What adjustments has Allmendinger and Cindric made to maybe have a run at Justin Allgaier? Gibbs as well, who's still hanging on to 3rd after the restart. It looked like Allmendinger actually got the wall off turn 2 on the restart. Did not see that initially, but NBC just showed a replay. Composite bodies with the Xfinity Series cars. It shouldn't cause a tire rub. Otherwise, I think we would have seen the tires smoking now that they're a few laps after the restart initially. But any sort of damage could be significant for the aero dependencies, especially when you're on these bigger racetracks, or the intermediate racetracks, as you would say. Josh Berry on the charge is going to clear A.J. Allmendinger into turn 1 on the high side. Berry hasn't really ran the top much today. He's pretty much been hooked on that white line on the bottom, but now that he's moved up after the restart, he is passing cars left and right. Now he's on the back of Ty Gibbs for third as Gibbs washes up the track. Barry to the bottom, side by side for third place off of turn 4. Barry a little sideways in the trioval. Gibbs almost got into him as he tries to side draft him. And Gibbs sends it in on the high side again. Allmendinger right behind both, staying in the battle. He'll get the run off turn 1 back to the outside of Barry, and Gibbs holds on to third. Still got the donut on the left side of the 1 after he got sandwiched in that earlier accident back on lap 30 that sparked 11 cars being involved. Barry actually survived it with very minimal damage. At the front of the field, Cindric still within 2 to 3 tenths of a second of Allgaier. Gibbs sliding up the track again as he is struggling with corner exit. Barry bump drafting Allmendinger, trying to get him by the 54. Sends him into turn 3. Allmendinger is clear and up to third. Now Barry back on the inside of Gibbs as well. Contact getting into turn 1 between Barry and Gibbs. Gibbs a little too aggressive on the side draft. Nothing too major, but that could have been a lot worse than what it ended up showing out to be. And now Gibbs with a big block on Noah Gragson into turn 3. Cindric's got a run on the inside of Allgaier into turn 1. Battle for the race lead with 68 laps to go, and as Cindric takes the line away of the 7, he clears off of turn 2. New leader Austin Cindric for the first time today. Cindric is going to lead. Been running second or third most of the race, but he has not led until now. Allgaier's got a pretty fast race car, but obviously the adjustment changes have worked on this latest pit stop for the 22 crew. Crossover to the inside into turn 1. Allgaier back to the bottom again. Allmendinger closing back. He's less than a second off the race lead as these two battle it out in front of him. Track continuing to change as well, playing into some very setup changes. Allgaier again to the bottom in 3 and 4, but failed to get alongside the 22. Cindric pulls away in the trioval from the run on the high side. Allgaier persistent with the bottom lane, hooked to that white line. Car is wiggling up the track again, and again he cannot quite stay on the inside of the 22. Both cars down to the bottom. Cindric tries to take the line away of the 7. Josh Berry only 1.1 seconds off the lead as well in 4th, and he is close back on Allmendinger after finally pulling away from Ty Gibbs. And if this does go green to the end, it'll be interesting to see when these drivers will pit. We went green with 76 to go. They can't make it on fuel to the end. Will we see guys split in half? Will we see guys try to stay out as long as they can, hoping for a caution? The way the cautions have flown tonight, that doesn't seem like it'd be that bad of a strategy, staying out as long as you can, even on older tires at Vegas. Ty Gibbs side by side with Noah Gragson down the back straightaway. Gragson side drafts Gibbs as Gibbs is on the bottom. Gragson on the top into 3. Gragson almost slides into the wall. And now off the exit of turn 4, they're side by side for the lead. Cindric got a little tight and lifted off the exit of the corner, and Allgaier will make the pass on the bottom of the track, clearing him at the start-finish line. Great racing here in the final stage. Not quite into the lap traffic, but it will be coming up in the next few laps. Cindric on the top side, Allgaier down on the bottom. Cindric's got a big run coming off turn 4. Closing that gap into turn 1. Allgaier's got about 3 car lengths on him. Lap car on the top side of the track of Jay Buford will hold up the 22 of Cindric. Cindric almost gets into the back of Buford. And now here comes Allmendinger. As he looks to the inside of the 22. Cindric trying to cut him off. Side by side for second, and that really allowed Allgaier to pull away. Now Allmendinger slides up the track off 4, and Josh Berry clears for 3rd place. Buford really stalled out the 2nd through 4th place cars off turn 2. Gragson trying to get himself in the mix as well. Cindric pulling back away from Michael Annett and AJ Allmendinger, and he'll try to go back on the attack on Allgaier, who quickly all of a sudden leads by a second. And a lot of it was just because of that one lap alone. Gragson had a massive run off the high side, squeezing in between the lap car and AJ Allmendinger, and the 1-3 wide up the middle to get to 4th. Banzai moves left and right for all these drivers, battling all over inside the top 5 with 60 laps to go. Third different time Allgaier has led in the race. Josh Berry to the inside for 2nd place. On Austin Cindric. Slides up the track, clear. Cindric with the major crossover. Almost got into the back of Berry off corner exit. Berry going to side draft and try to pick the 22 in line behind the lap car on the inside. Berry not quite clear off turn 4. They almost touch it. Here comes Gragson with a big run now. Door to door. Gragson. Nowhere to go. Lap car in the way. Gragson probably wanted to go to the high side, but he couldn't do it. Cindric struggles in the center of the corner in 1 and 2. Berry finally clears him for 2nd. Gragson will have to hold on behind the 22. Remaining in the 4th spot as Allmendinger tries to claw back into it. Allmendinger on the inside of Gragson through 3 and 4, but can't hold the corner. Ty Gibbs closing back in on the battle again as it's just a chain reaction of events going on. As Allgaier is pulling away because of it, but from 2nd through really 6th place back to Gibbs, only 1.4 seconds separates them. Now, does Josh Berry have anything for his teammate Justin Allgaier? We saw a part-time driver win last night in the Truck Series. Pulling off the upset, can Josh Berry be a part-time driver in the Xfinity Series, who is also not in the playoffs, get the win? Gibbs with an aggressive slide job off turn 4 on AJ Allmendinger, pulling clear. So Gibbs is up to 5th. Allmendinger will try to cross him over now into turns 1 and 2 on the bottom of the racetrack. Actually, to the top, rather. Gibbs went to the bottom. Allmendinger couldn't get him that time. Quietly haven't talked about it since the restart, but Myatt Snyder's fallen from 7th all the way back to 15th. They may have gone the wrong way on the setup. And that is crucial because Brandon Jones is still in the back half of the top 10 and 8th and is currently shown 8 points above Snyder in the playoff standings as they run with 54 laps to go in race 1 at Vegas. "25 laps on all these drivers' tires. That's as many laps as we have seen on a green flag run so far. Pit window is open to the end of the race on fuel. Pit window's about 60 to 63 laps. And again, we went green with 76 to go. One set of tires left for these crews. No green flag stops so far today. So you're definitely going to have to make sure you do not speed. Without any practice or qualifying either, drivers have not been able to even practice it. So it'll be the first and really only attempt this race weekend for these Xfinity Series drivers to have a clean green flag stop, and as well for those crews added onto the pressure. Josh Berry still within 9/10 of a second of Justin Allgaier. Fluctuating back and forth in the lap traffic as we have 50 laps to go. Gragson has closed back on Austin Cindric for third place once again. Cindric, Gragson both running the high side through 3 and 4. Gragson just a tad higher than Cindric in the center of the corner. Closer you can get to the wall without touching it. Just that much more bigger of a run you can get down on the straightaways. Gragson sends it to the inside in turns 1 and 2. A little bit too far back to be able to make the slingshot pass on Cindric. Falls in line a few car lengths behind him, and Cindric pulls him down the back straightaway. Gragson back to the top in turns 3 and 4 as they continue to battle for third place. 49 laps left. Justin Allgaier leads the race. Junior Motorsport teammates in second and fourth place behind him as NBC Sports will go to side-by-side coverage once again. So we'll keep the commentary rolling. Josh Berry is quickly running down Allgaier during the break. Now within a half a second off the lead, as Allgaier continues to catch lap traffic in much worse situations than what Josh Berry is catching him. Berry closes again through 3 and 4 without any lap traffic help that time. Within 2 car lengths behind Allgaier into turn 1. Both cars go to the bottom of the racetrack. And Berry is rolling a lot faster. Over a mile an hour average faster that last lap was Josh Berry, but he lost a little ground through 1 and 2 that time. Slipped up the track in the dirty air with Allgaier trying to pinpoint what line Berry is running and run that same exact line, putting Berry in a tougher situation with his car handling. Berry learning that perhaps on the fly now as he moves up just in a groove off the white line, just enough to catch as much clean air as he can, but he definitely still wants to run the bottom. It seems like his car is more hooked up there. He has been on the bottom more often than not throughout the course of the night, has moved up on restarts to make passes, but for the most part, Berry has been rolling that white line on the inside. Let me see back to the full coverage now. Allgaier slips off turn 2. Berry closes in again. Allgaier's definitely looked like he has had a little bit looser of a setup since the drop of the green flag today. It has tightened up over the course of the run, which is probably why he ended up winning stage 2 and is getting faster as the track continues to gain rubber. The track temps continue to cool, creating more grip, faster lap times. Gregson's got a big run down the back straightaway on Cindric, and he'll try to make the move to the inside into 3 and 4. Gregson's clearing the center of the corner. Now he'll try to pull up in front of the 22. Slide job maneuver off the exit of the corner. Clear. Cindric gets the run. Back to the outside. Door to door into turn 1. Cindric up near the wall. Gregson back to the bottom again. He'll try to clear again. And as he slides up the track, an aggressive move. Crossover by the 22. Back to the inside of the 9. Gregson goes down the track trying to side draft him, but he couldn't do it enough. And now Gregson crisscrosses to the outside. Cindric to the bottom. Gregson gets a massive run off turn 4. Gregson pulls clear. Cindric gonna probably drive it off deep into turns 1 and 2 to the bottom again. No, they both go to the top, surrendering the position. Meanwhile, at the front, Allgaier slipped into turn 1, and Josh Berry will take the lead. Josh Berry to the lead for the first time in this race, with 42 laps to go. Berry has been the fastest car on the racetrack over the last few laps. Allgaier not done with the battle yet. He's still staying within about 2 car lengths of Josh Berry. Both cars still staying hooked onto the white line. 40 laps to go with one pit stop still looming. We are nearly halfway through this tire stint if they decided to cut it in half to the end of the race and pit. But with one set of tires left, if you pit early, get the caution. Yes, you may cycle back to the lead, but you're going to have older tires compared to everybody else on the restart. The tires matter a ton here at Las Vegas, as we've seen throughout the course of the race. Ty Gibbs is now closed on Cindric as Cindric continues to fade on the extremely long green flag run, or at least the longest green flag run of the race so far, at almost 40 laps. Gibbs has closed the gap. He'll make the dive into turns 1 and 2 to the inside. Cindric trying to stay consistent with the top, looking for all the speed he can. Gibbs cannot pull clear off the exit of the corner, and Cindric will be clear instead on the high side. Supra versus a Mustang as they battle for 4th. Gibbs could not pull clear that time, but he will side draft the 22 as he gets alongside of him for a brief moment at least, but too much momentum off the high side allowed Gibbs to not be able to hold on. Gibbs consistent with the bottom lane, but he continues to not be able to pull clear. Gibbs drives it in deeper and deeper and deeper, lap after lap, corner after corner, trying to get around the 22, the defending champion. Door to door at the start-finish line this time. That might be the advantage Gibbs needs. Sends it into 1 and 2 again. Should be able to pull clear off turn 2, but a crossover will likely be incoming by Cindric if he can get the grip. He could not get enough grip. Gibbs is up to 4th. .35 laps to go. Berry out to a 1.7 second lead on Allgaier and is pulling away. Berry still the fastest car on the racetrack at this point in the run. Longest green flag run of the race, and maybe Berry's got the best long run car. We still have that one pit stop looming. You cannot make a mistake. especially if you're one of these playoff drivers, which we have many of them still inside the top 10. Current top 10 order, we got Josh Berry in the lead. Justin Allgaier second. He's the top running playoff driver. Gragson in the playoffs in third. Gibbs in fourth. Cindric in fifth. Hemrick in sixth. Allmendinger seventh. Justin Haley eighth. Brandon Jones ninth. And Ty Dillon rounding out the top 10. Troubles for Myatt Snyder as he has just gone a lap down in the 15th position. Berry has lapped him and barring a quick yellow to get Snyder the free pass. It's going to be tough for him to get that lap back by the end of the race. I can definitely see Snyder being one of the drivers to stay out as long as he can, hoping for a caution, I'd have to imagine, unless everybody else decides to do that. Which still we have not seen anybody pit. And that could be the one problem that could be looming in the hands right now of Josh Berry is that, yes, he has the fastest long-run car. But if we go later and later into this race, then we get a yellow with everybody being able to pit equal fresh tires. Will Berry be able to hold on to the lead long enough on the short run to be able to win this race and get his second career Xfinity Series victory? It's amazing how quickly he is pulling away. 3 seconds ahead. Gragson in third. 5.3 seconds back. We saw the Thor Motorsport trucks last night go 1, 2, 3, 4 in the finish. And then you got Junior Motorsports in the Xfinity race tonight running 1, 2, 3. Great team performances in the first two races of the weekend so far. 29 laps to go now for Josh Berry. Noah Gragson just got into the wall that last time off turn 4, running just a tad too hard. Maybe he'll be coming to pit road soon. Bailey Curry on pit road right now. He was, I believe, at the tail end of the lead lap. Maybe just went a lap down before pitting. Yep. It's thinking the same thing that Jeff Burton was thinking as far as the pit strategy goes. Josh Berry will likely not be the first driver to pit. You don't want to give up the lead, especially now that he has pulled ahead to 4.2 seconds over Allgaier. But as soon as one of those drivers inside the top 5 pits, more specifically either Allgaier or Gragson, because they're the only two within 12 seconds of Berry, you have to pit that next lap, or you're going to start losing a couple seconds a lap to these guys, and they're going to cut back into the lead. Between that not having as good of a short-run car for Josh Berry's sake, that could be problematic and losing the lead late. First playoff driver into the pits, it would be Brandon Jones, who was in the 8th position. He wants tires. He's going to come and get it. Tommy Joe Martin's on pit road as well. 13.5 second stop for Brandon Jones. Only 11 drivers on the lead lap. Now, granted, it was 12, but Jones decided to pit. He was close enough behind Haley and Allmendinger that he may be able to jump them for position by pitting when he did. It can be costly, though, if we get a caution in the middle of these green flag stops, because that would trap Jones. It's like one lap down. I guess he could take the wave around, but then he'd end up being on older tires. And here comes Justin Allgaier into the pits. 4.5 seconds off the race lead. In the second place position, Allgaier deciding to pit. Ty Gibbs on his way into pit road as well. Same lap as Justin Allgaier. 13.7 second stop for Allgaier. We'll have to keep an eye out on the times of Gregson and Berry as well. Gibbs with a 12.7 stop. Second stop, a full second quicker than Allgaier. Ty Dillon in pit road for the top 10. So is Brett Moffitt, Daniel Hemrick, Austin Cindric in the pits. Ty Dillon with a 15.2 second stop. Harrison Burton on his way into the pits. 13.8 second stop for Cindric. Brett Moffitt taking a brutally long time. Very slow stop for that Hour Motorsports team. 17.2 seconds. Went into the pits just inside the top 10. Daniel Hemrick had a 13.7 second stop. Harrison Burton at 14.1 seconds. That is the slowest of any playoff driver so far. Noah Gragson onto pit road. AJ Allmendinger into the pits. Now race leader Josh Berry will come in. So Berry pitting either a lap or two after Allgaier. .7 second stop for Noah Gragson. AJ Allmendinger's stop will be a 14.6. That is the slowest of the playoff drivers so far. 14.0 for Michael Annett. So Allgaier's pit crew about 0.3 of a second faster than Josh Berry's on pit road. Allgaier pitted 2 laps before Berry. By the time Berry gets up to speed, will Allgaier be able to get around him? Allgaier at the start-finish line as Berry is making his way off the pit lane. This is going to be brutally close. 0.3 of a second. Was it the difference? Moffitt right in front of the 7. Berry trying to get up to speed down the back straightaway. And it'll be by a little bit, a couple car lengths into turn 3. Justin Allgaier has cycled back to the lead. Or the eventual lead once everybody pits. 18 laps to go at Las Vegas. Lap traffic, Myatt Snyder, Brett Moffitt right in front of Allgaier. Not going to be easy for Justin Allgaier. Justin Haley finally into the pits. Myatt Snyder actually was on the lead lap. He's on older tires. Trying to stay out and hope for a caution. And now the fight in lap traffic. Who will win between Josh Berry and Justin Allgaier? Justin Haley's pit stop, 13.1 seconds. And all the playoff drivers that remain in this race have now pitted, except for Myatt Snyder. Snyder just hoping for a caution. He will have that set of tires, too, that he could pit with only having 13 cars on the lead lap. You never know. That could be an awesome strategy call for Myatt Snyder if we get the yellow. Berry gains a lot of time in 3 and 4 on Allgaier, who has cycled back to the lead. Into turn 1. Berry to the top side. He should get the run on corner exit. Allgaier on the bottom. Slides up the racetrack. Berry is there. Side by side for the lead down the back straightaway with 17 to go. Berry is clear into turn 3. Brett Moffitt's going to fight hard, though, to try and stay on the lead lap. He is the last car on the lead lap right in front of the 2 leaders. Off turn 4, Moffitt thought about blocking Berry. He'll hold the high side, Berry to the bottom. 16 to go, another lead change. Josh Berry filling in for the injured Michael Annett once again. Allgaier had cycled back to the lead for a couple laps. And then Josh Berry took it away from him a few laps after coming out of the pit lane. What adjustments they have made to that one car, and he has been flying in the final 50 laps of the race. 15 to go, and he's already stretched the lead back out to 0.8 of a second. Battle for position as well on the racetrack between Brandon Jones and Daniel Hemrick for 4th. With 14 to go. Hemrick on the high side, Brandon Jones on the inside into turns 1 and 2. Gregson still in 3rd, but he's about 7.9 seconds off the lead. Ty Gibbs pit road speeding penalty. That's what I was thinking too. I was seeing on the leaderboard he's a lap down at 13th, and I was wondering how. So, speeding penalty on pit road for Ty Gibbs. There's not as many green flag stops in the ARCA series, so maybe not as used to it. Especially with these cars being even faster than the ARCA cars as well. Probably doesn't help. Great catch there, Ethan. And welcome to the stream, by the way. "12 laps to go for Josh Berry, 2.4 seconds ahead of Allgaier and pulling away. Only a caution stands in the way of Josh Berry at this point. He's getting through the lap traffic better. He's overall faster than anybody on the racetrack. I think Ty Dillon might have went fuel only on his pit stop, conserving tires, as well as Brandon Jones and Daniel Hemrick. That's an awfully long time to go on tires. So they're thinking if we do get a late race yellow, we could pit, take tires, and try to get to the front. Problem is, they are running out of laps. 10 to go. Now to a 3.8 second lead. Austin Cindric has just passed both Hemrick and Jones. Excuse me, sorry about that. Hemrick and Jones did take tires. I was looking at the best lap, and the best lap times are at lap 53 versus 127. It was throwing me off because I was seeing a huge difference in laps on the interval screen. So sorry for that false information. That's right, though. Brandon Jones was the first driver on pit road. That is how he gained so many positions, because he was an 8th, cycled back to 4th. Pitting about 5 or 6 laps before everybody else. Of the leaders, at least. Seven laps to go for Josh Berry. Junior Motorsports 1, 2, 3. Followed by Cindric in 4th and Daniel Hemrick, the first Toyota, rounding out the top 5 for Joe Gibbs Racing. For the second night in a row, we could see not only a non-playoff driver win a playoff race in any of the top 3 series in NASCAR, but a part-time driver who is not in the playoffs, just like Christian Eckes last night getting his first career truck win for Thor Motorsports. Josh Berry trying to get his second career Xfinity win and second on the season, first since Martinsville at the beginning of the year. Berry going to run full-time next year for Junior Motorsports in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Not sure as to what car exactly he will run, but he will be running full-time. He's 5 laps away from his second victory of the season. In a year that seems to be highlighted by part-time drivers in the Xfinity Series. Gibbs with 3 wins. Berry's about to get 2. Both those two will be running full-time Xfinity next year. Berry just hoping to get to the white flag. 4.3 seconds ahead of Allgaier. Only 10 cars are on the lead lap. Remember, Berry survived that accident back on lap 30 in this race where he got sandwiched 4 wide into turn 1 on that restart that took out 11 cars, including the 3 playoff drivers of Riley Herbst, Jeb Burton, and Jeremy Clements. It was Jeb Burton and Riley Herbst who had sandwiched the 1. That's why you see the scuff or the donut mark on the left side of the 1 car. Surviving that accident and keeping the speed he has had in that race car tonight has put on a clinic in the final 50 laps and is now out to a 5-second lead as he comes to 2 laps to go. Just think, too, if Michael Annett would have been healthy to race tonight, that Josh Berry wouldn't have even been in this race. Piled on to the near accident earlier in the race. One thing aligns with another, and all of a sudden he's in position to win. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank. Pace has backed off now that he has gotten to the white flag. Obviously so. He's a half a lap away from victory. One last time into turns 3 and 4. Career win number 2 in the NASCAR Xfinity Series for Josh Berry. Part-time upset driver for the second night in a row. Justin Allgaier second. Noah Gragson third, a 1-2-3 finish for Junior Motorsports. Austin Cindric 4th, Daniel Hemrick 5th, Brandon Jones 6th, AJ Allmendinger 7th, Ty Dillon 8th, Justin Haley 9th, and Harrison Burton will round out the top 10. Only 10 drivers finished on the lead lap. We had 6 cautions, 3 for incident tonight. $14 lead changes with 7 different leaders. An emotional and big win for Josh Berry. And a big win for this number 1 team, as it has been a couple years since going to victory lane for the number 1 crew. Post-race interview coming from Josh Berry after his burnout on the front stretch. No victory burnout. I think they're going to save this engine. It was bad fast. As the sky darkened, the track temps cooled. The 1 car came to life in the last 50 laps, and Josh Berry has absolutely earned his 2nd career win here tonight at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in the playoff opener. Just imagine if he was running full-time this year, he would have been in the playoffs. And this would have been his ticket into the round of 8. Because he was running part-time, he didn't run the full season, he was not able to participate in the playoffs, despite having a win earlier in the year. And he does not want to get out of that race car. Unbelievable moment for Josh Berry. His crew coming out to congratulate him. And here is Josh Berry's post-race interview.
Looked ready to celebrate his 2nd career Xfinity Series win, and he leads the way for a Junior Motorsports 1-2-3 finish. Dale Jr. and Kelly Earnhardt are going to be happy tonight, but not as happy as this guy. Josh Berry told me earlier today these 1.5-mile tracks were the place he needed to make the most improvement, but you've gone out there and bettered them all, so what do you say now, Josh?
Oh my gosh, the thing was so fast. It just took me a while to figure it out. I knew the race would go down to the bottom at the end, I felt like, so I just wanted to really work hard and make sure my car ran good on the bottom. And I just had to stay disciplined and keep working on it. These guys made the right adjustments. And it was fast, man. I just finally got a long run and put everything together and was able to do it.
What was it like there racing against your own teammate and Justin Allgaier, who's in the Drivers' Championship? How was it balancing that as you made the passes to get around him?
Yeah, I know it's tough. Me and Justin have raced together a lot this year, and most of them he's got the better of me. Today we were able to get one, but this is cool. This moves the 1 car to the next round of the owners' points. That's really important to this group. They've worked so hard. They've been through so much. They deserve this. Pilot Flying J deserves this. All-State Peterbilt TMC. I want to say hi to Michael at home and thank him and his group for trusting me to drive this race car. And, man, just everybody back at JRM. 1-2-3 finish. That's really cool. Like I said, the car was great. Just had to figure it out, and I just was finally able to do it. So I just want to say hi to my wife and my little girl at home. I don't know what time it is back home. She might be asleep by now. But I love you guys. And, man, just thank you to all these fans for coming out here. Man, I wanted to win this race so badly tonight for this group, and we were able to do it.
Josh Berry, the winner here at Las Vegas.
That's an interesting point he also made, was that the one car will move into the next round of the owners' points playoffs for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. They did qualify. Good night of racing here tonight, and a feel-good story to top things off. Josh Berry has won at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, pulling off the upset as a non-playoff and part-time driver in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. That is going to wrap things up here for tonight's stream. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, hit the like button. Also subscribe for more daily NASCAR content on the channel. Our next live stream will be tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our next episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode at Road America, our second to last race of the regular season for the NASCAR Cup Series side of things. Playoff battles heating up to the end on the cutoff line there. So you won't want to miss that. Our next full race live stream with live commentary for an actual NASCAR race will be next weekend at Talladega for the Cup Series side of things next Sunday afternoon. So you can be on the lookout for that as well. Don't want to miss the thing. Predictions video also coming out tomorrow on the channel for tomorrow's Las Vegas race. Fantasy advice there. You can join the NASCAR Fantasy League on the NASCAR mobile app or website. Search for KRC League. You can sign up. It is free to join with your email and a chance to win some prizes at the end of the season if you can win the playoff championship. If you're not in, you probably won't win, but you're in for next year. So only stipulation outside of simply being in the league is to be a subscriber of the channel as well. So I will see you guys tomorrow afternoon. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you had a great night of racing, watching the race, and listening to the commentary throughout. Appreciate it. Mario 1, welcome on in right at the end. Happy for my man. Indeed. Congratulations, Josh Berry, winner at Las Vegas.